client of mine, a freelance graphic designer, sat across from me last May with a stack of IRS notices and tears in her eyes. She'd missed the April 15th deadline. Not because she couldn't pay, not because she didn't have the documents. She just froze. The anxiety was so overwhelming that she did nothing. She didn't file. She didn't request an extension. By the time she finally filed 5 months later, the IRS had assessed $9,200 in penalties and interest on a $31,000 tax bill. She paid almost 30% extra for doing nothing. I'm Bev from bookkeepingcoach.net. In 30 years of bookkeeping, I have watched the April 15th deadline destroy people. Not because the taxes were unmanageable, but because panic and inaction turned a manageable situation into a financial catastrophe. April 15th is less than 2 weeks away. If you're not ready, this video is for you. Let me walk you through what happened, because I want you to understand how fast this can compound. She was a sole proprietor graphic designer with about $118,000 in profit after expenses. She'd done some things right. She separated her business account, she tracked most of her expenses, and had $15,000 set aside to pay her taxes. But her books weren't reconciled, and she kept putting off getting organized for her accountant. January, February, March, her accountant set follow-ups. She'd reply she was working on it. She wasn't. Full panic hit in April. She started the work 3 times and stopped each time because she didn't know if she was doing it right. April 15th came. Nothing was sent to her accountant. She could have filed an extension, but she convinced herself that extensions triggered audits or meant that she'd owe more. Neither is true. So she did nothing. Here's how the IRS penalty structure works. Her total tax liability was $31,000. 0 estimated payments made. That $15,000 in savings had never been sent to the IRS. Penalty 1, failure to file. 5% of unpaid tax per month capped at 25%. For her, $1,550 per month, maxing at $7,750. 2, failure to pay. An additional 0.5% per month, $155. 3, interest on unpaid taxes and penalties compounded daily at around 7 to 8%. She filed in September, 5 months late. By then, $77.50 in failure to file, $775 failure to pay, approximately $1,425 in interest on top of the $31,000 tax bill. She had $15,000. She paid it immediately, set up an installment agreement, and spent 18 months paying off the rest. The total penalties and interest she paid was $12,400. An extension would have cost her $0. One form, 5 minutes. The $77.50 failure to pay penalty would be completely eliminated. If she'd also sent her $15,000 with the extension, her total penalties and interest would have been around $2,800 instead of $12,400. One form could have saved $9,600. She said, I was so scared of getting it wrong that I did nothing, and doing nothing was the most expensive option. She's right. It always is. An extension to file is not an extension to pay. This is the single biggest misconception I see. Form 4868 gives you until April 15th. So if you owe money, estimate what you owe, send a payment with your extension, and file by October 15th. The hierarchy from worst to best? The worst is not filing and not paying. Both penalties run simultaneously. This is what happened to my client. Bad is filing late without an extension. Full 5% per month failure to file penalties will apply. Manageable, an extension without payment. Failure to pay penalty and interest apply, but the big filing penalty is gone. The best is an extension with a payment. You eliminate the failure to file penalty entirely. Interest and failure to pay only apply on the remaining balance. The difference between worst and best is often $10,000 or more. The only difference is whether you spent 5 minutes on a form. For your books to be ready to file, revenue needs to be complete through December 31st. Expenses correctly categorized, all bank account and credit card accounts reconciled through year end, payroll matching your 940s and 941s, and all estimated tax payments recorded accurately. So here's where you are right now. Option 1, your books are ready. They're clean, your accountant has everything, the return is filed or in progress. You're in the minority, but congratulations. Option 2, you're close, but you're not done. You've got gaps to close in the next 2 weeks. Tight, but doable. Option 3, you're not even close. Your books are a mess, you haven't talked to your accountant, and that familiar pit is back in your stomach. This is where most the damage happens. Not because the situation is unfixable, but because panic leads to inaction, and inaction is the most expensive choice. If you're in option 2 or 3, do these 3 things today. Not this weekend, today. File the extension, even as a safety net. It costs nothing and it protects thousands. Estimate what you owe and send a payment with it. Even a rough estimate is better than nothing. Get your books caught up. It has to happen eventually. Every day past April 15th costs you money. BookkeepingCoach.net was built exactly for this moment. Practical, step-by-step training from 30 years of real-world experience. Head over and find the course that fits where you are right now. The link is in the description. And I'm going to say it one more time. File that extension. 5 minutes, potentially thousands of dollars saved. Do it today. Subscribe for more tips, and I'll see you in the next video.